Fort Pentagouet was a French fort established in present-day Castine, Maine, which was the capital of Acadia. It is the oldest permanent settlement in New England. Its commanding position at the mouth of the Penobscot River estuary, a lucrative source of furs and timber, as well as a major transportation route into the interior, made the peninsula of particular interest to European powers in the 17th century. Pentabouet changed hands numerous times with shifting imperial politics. At one time or another, it was occupied by the French, Dutch and England's Plymouth colony. La Tour, Castine was founded in the winter of 1613, when Claude de Saint-Étienne de La Tour established a small trading post to conduct business with the Tarentine Indians. After the trading post was established at Castine, a raid by English Captain Samuel Argall at Mount Desert Island in 1613 signaled the start of a long-running dispute over the boundary between French Acadia to the north and the English colonies to the south. There is evidence that de La Tour immediately challenged the English action by re-establishing his trading post in the wake of Argall's raid. Captain John Smith charted the area in 1614 and referred to French traders in the vicinity. In 1625, Charles de Saint-Étienne de La Tour erected a fort named Fort Pentagouet. English colonists from the Plymouth colony seized it in 1629, and made it an administrative outpost of the colony. Colonial Governor William Bradford personally travelled there to claim it. D'Aulnay. From 1635 to 1654, Charles de Manu d'Aulnay de Charnisy defended his private commercial interests at Fort Pentagouet. In 1635, it was retaken by the French and again incorporated into Acadia. Governor Isaac de Razilly sent Charles de Manu d'Aulnay de Charnisy to retake the village. In 1638, d'Aulnay built a more substantial fort named Fort Saint-Pierre. While he had other ventures in Acadia, Fort Pentagouet was his major outpost on the frontier with New England. Emmanuel Le Borgne with 100 men raided the settlement in 1653. Major General Robert Sedgwick led 100 New England volunteers and 200 of Oliver Cromwell's soldiers on an expedition against Acadia in 1654. Before taking its capital Port Royal, Sedgwick captured and plundered the French settlement at Pentagouet. The English occupied Acadia for the next 16 years and Fort Pentagouet saw very little use. Capital of Acadia. From 1670, when Acadia was returned to the French, Fort Pentagouet became the capital of Acadia under two governors, Hector d'Andenay de Grandfontaine and Jacques de Chambly, both formerly of the Carignan Saliers Regiment. During the Franco-Dutch War, Pentagouet and other Acadian ports were captured by the Dutch Captain Jurien and Ennats, who arrived from New Amsterdam, renaming Acadia New Holland. The Dutch turned the fort's cannon on its own walls and destroyed most of it after the second siege. Casteen himself retook it in 1676 and renamed the town Bagadjous, a shortened version of Majabagadjous. The habitation of St. Castine. From 1667, after the Treaty of Breda, until 1700, St. Castine, a former ensign at Fort Pentagouet, re-established French authority nearby out of small trading post that formed the nucleus of a new French and Indian habitation. French authorities dispatched the Baron Jean-Vincent de St. Casteen to take command of Pentagouet. The Baron married an Abenaki woman, the daughter of the sachem Modokawando. She adopted the French name Matilda and bore him 10 children. The Baron became a widower and then married another Abenaki woman named Marie Pidiwa-Misqua, who bore him 2 additional children. Casteen soon became a force in colonial trade and diplomacy. After 1677, Casteen returned to his trading post within a village of 160 Echemin Indians, 2 European buildings within a settlement of 32 wigwams. King William's War. During King William's War, Casteen's settlement was plundered by English Governor Sir Edmund Andros in 1688. In response, Casteen led an Abenaki war party to raid the English settlement at Pemaquid in August 1689. During the siege of Pemaquid, one of the captives the Maliseet took back to the main village Meductic was John Giles, who created one of the few captivity narratives to come out of Nova Scotia, Acadia. John Giles' brother James was also captured by the Penobscot and eventually taken back to Fort Penobscot, where he was tortured and burned alive at the stake. In 1692 the village was again seized by the English, when Major Benjamin Church destroyed the fort and looted the settlement. With the return of Baron Casteen and his sons to France, the settlement became sparsely occupied. Queen Anne's War. During Queen Anne's War, in response to the French raid on Deerfield in February 1704, New England Colonel Benjamin Church raided Casteen's settlement before moving on to raid other Acadian villages at present-day Street, Stephen, New Brunswick, Grand Pre-Acute Pentagouet, and Sheen Yecto. St. Casteen's daughter was taken in the raid.